Alright guys, so since there was kind of a very low turnout for the Phineas and Ferb Q&A, I decided to go all out, screw it, and I decided to just do the Q&A with what I had. There was a very low turnout, so I decided, you know what, I might as well just do the Q&A. This is the first Q&A since I started doing these types of Q&As with the subjects and whatnot, of doing it by myself. I figured since it was kind of a low turnout, now I'm not bashing anybody for it. I think the main problem was that I put that Q&A video up like late, and I don't think a lot of people saw it. So, kudos, I'm not blaming anybody. I think if anyone's to blame for that, it's me. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to go through the questions with what I have, and this is probably going to be the shortest Q&A subject I've had. So yeah. So let's do this. First question comes from Green Arrow Hunter, and he asks, could Phineas and Ferb work as a live-action movie? It could, I just don't want it. I'm so tired of, why does every animated movie have to be live-action when it can work totally fine? In fact, I know they're doing a animated film for the big screen. I think that comes out next year, I believe, or the year after. I'm every time, someone talks about the Phineas and Ferb movie, it's like, oh, it's coming out next year, oh, it's coming out next year, oh, it's coming out next year. That was a horrible Gangnam Style. That was a horrible, horrible Gangnam Style parody thing, whatever. So, yes, you could do that, but I don't want it. That's what I'm trying to say, is that I really don't want a live-action movie. I mean, is it possible? Yeah. Do I want it? No. So thank you for that question, Green Arrow Hunter. Next question comes from Jake Bat. And Jake Bat asks, what would happen if Phineas and Ferb teamed up with James Cameron? It'd be an amazing movie. I'll say that. It would be an amazing movie, and it'd probably have a better plot than Avatar. I mean, Avatar's nice to look at, but I don't hate Avatar because it's the world itself is very cool. The story itself is just boring. Because I've seen this before and done better in, Last Samurai and even Pocahontas, honestly. But that's off topic. More or less, I think that would be a very cool team-up right there. In fact, he's one of those one of those people you could see on the show, possibly. I mean, they had Seth MacFarlane and a few other major actors and a few there, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay, so thank you for that question, Jake Bat. Next question comes from More Crossovers, and he asks, what Phineas and Ferb crossovers would you like to see, and what would happen? Okay, so Phineas and Ferb crossovers I would absolutely love to see. One, first and foremost, because they've referenced this on not only the show, but also this Doofenshmirtz web series no one told me about it, is that apparently the voice actor and co-creator of the show, Dan Pavamir, I'm saying that last name right, does these things called Doof's Daily Dirt, where it's him as Doofenshmirtz playing out, basically talking about what's relevant in the war on the internet. And they do make a lot of references to Breaking Bad and Doctor Who. And of course, Doctor Who, Phineas and Ferb. I've talked about it before. They've referenced it on the show here and there. There was a major reference in the Mission Marvel one. I would absolutely love to see that, and it'd be a lot of. I think it would be a lot of fun. I mean, it makes so much sense. You have, the probability for that is very high. Could be very high, if not for a crossover itself. I would like to at least someone like David Tennant or Matt Smith, or even someone like one of the classic Doctors like Tom Baker, show up and do a guest voice on the show. I mean, hell, they had all three guys from the British Top Gear show up in the newest episode. I don't think it's out of the realm of impossibility, I'm just saying. But yeah, a few others I'd like to see. In terms of, I'd like to see another Mission Marvel I'd like to see another Marvel crossover. I'd absolutely love to see another Phineas and Ferb Marvel crossover, probably with more characters. I'd like to see more than just those four: Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Thor. I'd like to see Captain America, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, of course, She-Hulk. I'd like to see some female heroes in that as well, and I'd like to see other superheroes, maybe even some X-Men characters. I think there'd be a lot of fun for that, and make it one bigger villain, like Doctor Doom or even Thanos. I mean, Thanos would probably be the better choice because you know how Marvel's trying to build up Thanos these days. So I would not be surprised if they did this again and said, oh, Thanos is going to be in it. And Doofenshmirtz wants the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Schmertz. That'd probably be the name of the episode, too. I'm just saying, that would probably be the episode, too. The episode name as well. Anywho, but those are the top two right there. Another Marvel crossover and Doctor Who. I'm just saying. So thank you for that question. More crossovers. Next comes from Jerkwater100, and he asks, what's your favorite quote? Gosh, you bury the platypus. Yeah, because I like how Doofenshmirtz yells it, and sometimes has a variation to it here and there. It's very fun. It's probably my favorite quote because it could just be used randomly when Doofenshmirtz is randomly yelling at something. As you guys can probably tell, I highly like Doofenshmirtz a lot. So yeah. But yeah, that's my favorite quote from the show if I were to pick one. So thank you for that question, Jerkwater100. Next comes from Anthony Ballock. Oh, but I do apologize if I have totally messed up that name. I really do apologize if I messed that up. That name up. So Anthony asks, what is your favorite episode? Favorite episode. You see, here's the thing. I didn't start watching Phineas and Ferb until recently, like late last year recently. Reason being was because I always thought Phineas and Ferb was just another cartoon on Disney Channel that I wasn't interested in. So it wasn't until recently that I gave it a shot. And I started watching episodes, and I really do like them. I haven't seen every episode. That's the thing. And I know the show's been around since 2008. So the show has a very long run time, lifespan. So I haven't been able to see every single episode so far. And the reason why I started watching Phineas and Ferb was because of the Marvel crossover. That was really what sparked my interest. And yeah, then I started watching it more. I was like, hey, this is not a bad show. But like I said, I haven't been able to see every single episode. But of the episodes I have seen, a few episodes I have enjoyed were the B-Day and B-Day story. It's two different storylines that coincide with one episode. The Halloween specials, there's a few others, like Isabella's Birthday, that's a fun one. What else? Another one I really liked was the one where they take the cows to the moon to make moon ice cream. I thought that was hilarious because there's that little moo thing, that moo device that Ferb uses, like, moo, cows, get over here. I'm like, I want that as an actual novelty item. I want that as an actual thing. Can we make that a thing? Also, I actually laughed out loud when it broke the fourth wall and the reggae voice started arguing with Baljeet. I thought that was hilarious. So those are a few of my favorite episodes. But like I said, I haven't been able to see every episode. Next episode question comes from Travis Rendon, and he asks, would you like to see an episode in which Phineas and Ferb do their own things, like a day in the life episode where they're not building anything or just having their own hobbies, or do something we didn't know they could do? Oh, okay, I see where you're going with this. Okay, so basically what he's asking is, could we something like the Tales of Ba Sing Se episode from Avatar: The Last Airbender? That's basically what it is, like a day in the life kind of mini-sode, like these 5-6 minute stories. Okay, I can do that. I would really like to see that. Phineas, I could definitely see, like, he's Phineas and Ferb would have to be. They're always together. That's the thing. Like, you never really see them separate because they play off each other so well. So it would have to be them doing something like building a model plane or something. Buford, I could see, like, it's him secretly joining a boys' choir for something. I don't know about Isabella and Baljeet. Candace, I've got nothing either. I don't know. This is I would have to think about that. That's something I'd really have to think about for that one. But thank you for that question, Travis. Next question comes from the Brony Assassin 167, and he asks, if you could make any character in the world of Phineas and Ferb, they could be any... I totally tongue-tied on this question. If you could make any character in the world for Phineas and Ferb, they could be anything you want them to be, what would they be like? I think, okay, basically an OC, me making up an OC character for Phineas and Ferb. Okay, I get it. So, what would I make? What kind of character would I make? I think I would make a character that's a little more serious. Not in the sense like he's dark and gritty like Frank Miller level serious, but someone who's very uptight, very like in your face kind of character. Who I think I'd make him as old as the kids. Like maybe he had a military life background, and he's kind of grown up to be a little more straightforward. And he kind of thinks stuff isn't fun, and it would have to be Phineas and Ferb trying to hang out with him and trying to teach him, this is what fun is like. And I would have him like even someone that Buford tries to give him a wedgie, and he just grabs him and throws him to the ground and like bends his arm backwards, and Buford is just terrified of this guy now. Basically someone a little more serious. The more he hangs out with Phineas and Ferb, the more you see him lighten up throughout a few episodes. Because that was kind of what Buford was, that he was like the bully, but eventually he kind of just hung out with the kids more, and now he's one of their closest friends. So that's how I see it, and that's how I would make my character. Bit of a hard ass, but eventually they get closer to him emotionally and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I would do. So thank you for that question, Brony Assassin. Next comes Malingar. Malingar asks, how do you think Phineas is able to fit into his large triangle-shaped head through the tiny circular hole in his shirt? I don't know. That's the thing, I actually wondered that a few days ago when I was watching an episode. I was like, how does he get that head in the shirt hole? It's kind of like with Hey Arnold. You know how Arnold has that football head? How does he do that? We've seen him Arnold put on the shirt, and it's mind-blowing. So I don't know how Phineas does it. I really, seriously do not know how Phineas does that. I really don't. Maybe it's like gravity or something? I can't... I don't know. He's a super genius. There's got to be a way, right? Okay. So thank you for the question, Malingar. Next comes Death Christ 2000, and he asks, Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, and Wander Over Yonder crossover. Okay, so basically, I can honestly see this happening in the future of Disney Channel, because they've done that before with their live-action shows, and I always think to myself, it's only a matter of time before they do that with their animated shows, and we get Phineas and Ferb, Wander Over Gravity Falls. There you go. That is the title of that three-way crossover special. So how would basically the three biggest animated shows on Disney Channel together? All right. And I've seen Wander Over Yonder, for those who are wondering. Yes, I have seen Wander Over Yonder. It's all right. It's not a show I get into. I mean, I will occasionally watch it if there's nothing else on. It's not a terrible show. It's just not my cup of tea, like something I would see regularly. If you like it, that's totally fine. I'm just like a casual fan of it. But anyway, how in the world would I make a crossover based around that? I think what I would do is start off with Phineas and Ferb, wanting to go deeper space after, they want to go find their alien friend Meep. And what happens is, they try first. They make a first attempt. The rocket goes off out of control and lands them out of the tri-state area into Gravity Falls, where they crash right into the Mystery Shack with Dipper and Mabel and Wendy, Seuss, and Stan are all there. Stan's obviously pissed off, and he wants to take the rocket and sell it or make it into an attraction. Doesn't go so well. So Phineas is like, "Oh man, we got to get out of here." So they offer to take all of the crew, all of the Gravity Falls crew, that's a thing now, I guess, and they offer them to take them to deep space, and Stan believes he can capture an alien. So they all join up with Phineas and Ferb and the friends and the gang, and they launch off into space into deep space to go look for an alien, and they run into Wander and Sylvia. while this is going on, I would definitely have like Perry. Perry is told by Major Monogram that Doofenshmirtz is working with some new allies. He's got some new allies under his belt, and he's supposed to take Agent W, Agent Waddles, rookie agent, and take him with him as a partner. And together they battle Doofenshmirtz, Gideon, and Lord Hater. Well, actually, no, it'd be Doofenshmirtz, Bill Cipher, and Lord Hater. There you go. There you go. Adventures all around. That's just right. I could probably think of something better, but that's something I could. That's something I just thought of on the spot. So think of that question, Death Christ. Next question comes from Wolfman the Impaler, and Wolfman asks, which character would you want to hang out with? Me personally, I would like to hang out with, I think it'd be cool to hang out with, wow, I'm actually giving a lot of thought here. I think it'd be cool to hang out with either Phineas or Buford. I don't know what, Buford just looks like someone it looks like a lot of fun. Phineas was just like, I'd like to just watch him work. I don't know, like, just to see, like, it'd be like talking to a younger version of the Doctor. That's kind of what Phineas is. He's like a young Matt Smith era Doctor. He's like, well, actually, no, I think it'd be more like David Tennant Doctor, without all the fun-loving stuff. No, actually, the closest one I think Phineas is close to in terms of doctors is Tom Baker's Doctor. So it would be like listening to a young Tom Baker era Doctor and listen to him go on and just have a lot of fun listening to him talk. Buford, I think it would just be a lot of fun, and I actually do have friends who are like Buford. I have one friend who's a lot like an older version of Buford, so, yeah. Anyway, thank you for that question, Wolfman the Impaler. Next comes Serpent Tilada, and he asks, first it was Mission Marvel, next will be the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars crossover. What do you think will be the next crossover after that? I think I already had this question before. I guess, because I don't know. Because the thing is, like, the only thing I could see from here until Disney gets some more titles, I actually think, like, it could be cool, because now they own the rights to Indiana Jones. So maybe we could get a Phineas and Ferb Indiana Jones crossover, where because they have done time travel before. And this is what I should have brought up with the Doctor Who one, is that, oh yeah, they've done time travel too, so that's more impossibility. But what would be cool is, like, they time traveled back to the 40s and teamed up with Indiana Jones to find some rare artifact, or they heard about a rare artifact in the tri-state area, but it's no longer around. So Phineas and Ferb take the time machine they repair it in the time machine in the museum, go back in time, and team up with Indiana Jones. It wouldn't be voiced by Harrison Ford. It would probably be someone like a Harrison Ford-like voice. Personally, I think we could get Nathan Fillion to do the voice of Indiana Jones. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm just saying. But no, the only other two until Disney gets more stuff. I think the only two other ones you could do is another Marvel crossover, like I said, and the one Death Christ was talking about, a Phineas and Ferb Gravity Falls Wander Over Yonder crossover, or one or the other. I just really like that title, Phineas and Ferb Wander Over Gravity Falls. That would probably more than likely be some variation of it anyway, would be the title for that special. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, thank you for that question, Serpent. Next comes from BooRat1, and he asks, does this show remind you of any sort of short-lived 90s cartoon called Project Geeker? I have never... Now, I love 90s... I love obscure 90s TV shows. I really do. Animated TV shows. But I've never heard of Project Geeker. I'm going to have to look that up now. I'm sorry, BooRat, but I've never heard of Project Geeker, so I couldn't tell you. I'll just take your word for it, but I'm going to go look for Project Geeker on YouTube or somewhere else on here soon, right after I do this Q&A, because I have never heard of Project Geeker. I'm just saying. Sorry I couldn't go more in depth with your question, BooRat, but yeah. Anyway, thank you for that question. Next question comes from ActionFan19, and he asks, "What's your favorite song from the show?" Favorite song from the show? There's a few, actually. I really like the Troy Story song. In fact, actually, I like the Troy Story episode itself. I should have mentioned that when I was talking about my favorite episodes. I do like that one. I like Troy Story. The Troy Story song. I like the... There's a lot of songs like the God damn it! I can't think of one. I can't think of it. I can't think of the names of them. Like the Moon song when they're trying to get the cows to make moon ice cream. The reggae song, because it just suddenly breaks off and it goes. He's like, we don't have Rocky Road. I blame Baljit. I just like that. It's like how it just kind of skewers off into breaking the fourth wall. I think that's just kind of funny. But there's a few other songs. Just those two in general just come to my mind when I think about the favorite songs. Think of that song. Question, Action Fan 19. Next question comes from the Spawn 117, and he asks, "This is a strange question, but what would happen if Phineas and Ferb met Alucard, Ash from Evil Dead, Revy, Judge Dredd, Death from Darksiders, Hellboy, the 10th Doctor, Scarface from the Predator, Concrete Jungle Game, Grimlock, the Nostalgia Critic, and the Angry Video Game Nerd?" Okay, not meet them all at once, but I'm going to go through like what would kind of be the reaction for each one. Okay? So first off is what would happen if Phineas and Ferb met Alucard? Well, they have done vampire stuff before. They have done vampire-esque stuff before, so it'd be a lot more darker, and I think they'd be terrified of Alucard. Ash would be a lot of fun. In fact, not so much Ash, but maybe like a character that's like Ash, but with Bruce Campbell voicing him. Bruce Campbell's done some voice work before, and I'm pretty sure he'd be someone they might be able to get, but it'd be cool having some Evil Dead stuff in there, because they have done supernatural stuff in there before. Judge Revy would just be like, get the fuck out of my face, you damn kids, and probably shoot Candace because she wouldn't be able to handle Candace's constant bitching. Like Candace would be going on about Jeremy or busting her brothers, and Revy would just pull out her pistol and just blow her brains out. And just be like, shut the fuck up. Judge Dredd. I think if they ever met Dredd would have them all arrested, because it would be like some kind of law, like making unlicensed machinery, and arrest them on that ground, and take them all to a prison cube, or whatever. I'm trying to remember what it's really called. Death. It'd have to be they all die for Darksiders. Hellboy would be a lot of fun. I think they've had. I can't remember if I remember this stuff, but they have had Ron. I think they've had Ron Perlman on the show. I can't fully remember if they have or have not, but Hellboy would be a lot of fun if they had him on there. 10th Doctor and Phineas and Ferb. I've talked about how I would love to see the 10th Doctor hang out with, or any Doctor, a Doctor Who, Phineas and Ferb crossover in general would be a lot of fun. In fact, there's actually a fan fiction that I did a two-part fan fiction reading of called The Doctor Shakes His Asteroid, which has the 10th Doctor and Rose at the intergalactic milkshake bar that Phineas and Ferb domed. And that was a lot of fun. It was a fun little two-part story. I did a fan fiction reading of that. So, yeah. Scarface. I've never played Predator Concrete Jungle. I've never been able to play it, and here's why. It's apparently a hard-to-find game. I have seen clips of it, don't get me wrong. I have seen, clips of it. I have seen it out there. But the thing is it's really hard to find, and when you do find it, I don't have the proper thing to play, the proper, console to play it with. And, yeah, it's really expensive. So, there's a few things kind of getting in my way, but it would be fun. Let's see, what else? Grimlock would have to be in a Phineas and Ferb Transformers crossover in general, and I think Grimlock would accidentally step on somebody, sadly. And I think the two biggest ones on here that I think would be the best, you could honest to God see them on the show as the characters and have the people who are those people. That made a lot of sense, didn't it, right? is the nostalgia critic and angry angry video game nerd. I honestly believe you could get Doug Walker and James Rolfe on the Phineas and Ferb show as those characters, or a variation of those characters. You can honestly get because, like I said, they actually get the guys from the British Top Gear TV show, the British version of Top Gear. They've also had Simon Cowell. They've had Simon Pegg. Funny story about Simon Pegg: he's only in the UK version of a UK episode called Paul Delivery of Destiny, and he replaced Christian Slater on the character of Paul the Delivery Guy. I know, it's weird, and it's funny too because they had Christian Slater voice that character. So that's another big name actor they've had. Well, anyway, let's not go into logistics here, but yeah, I could honestly see James Rolfe and Doug Walker on the show playing characters. Maybe not. I could actually see them playing the nostalgia critic and the angry video game nerd, or variation or parodies of those characters, like the current complainer and the I don't know what the fuck you could call James the angry video game nerd, but yeah. So out of all of them, those two are probably the biggest one, closest ones you could actually see on the show and hang out with them, and hang out with Phineas and Ferb and whatnot. But anyway, guys, yeah, I know this was a Q&A. This was kind of a pretty short Q&A, and again, more than likely because I posted the Q&A, looking for questions very late. So yeah, I got no one else to blame on that department but on myself. But and yeah, I know this is the only one I haven't had a guest star on, because yeah, it was only 14 questions. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wing it myself, and yeah, I got for the questions I had. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much. I also have a feeling that there are probably more questions, but YouTube, being the dick that it is, has probably marked them as spam, or not had them show up. So I do apologize if I did miss a question. I deeply do apologize if I did miss a question. That was on technical difficulty, so I do apologize for that. And yeah, I am also currently losing my voice, so I better wrap this up. Once again, thank you guys so much for the questions, and yeah, I'm out.